The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, Chapter 1, The Enchanted Valley. Welcome back. Find your comfortable place and let the sounds of the autumn evening settle around you. Tonight, we journey to a forgotten corner of the world, a valley where time itself seems to have slowed to a gentle crawl. Close your eyes. Let us travel together to a place called Sleepy Hollow. In New York State, there is a valley, one of the quietest places in the world. The old Dutch settlers called it Sleepy Hollow. A drowsy, dreamy influence seems to hang over the land. Some say the place was bewitched. The people there believe in all kinds of marvels. They see strange sights and hear voices in the air. But the dominant spirit that haunts this region is the apparition of a figure on horseback, without a head. They say it is the ghost of a Hessian trooper, whose head was carried away by a cannonball in some long-forgotten battle. And every night he rides forth in quest of his head. He is known as the Headless Horseman of Sleepy Hollow. Chapter 2. The Schoolmaster of Sleepy Hollow. In this realm of slumber and spirits, there lived a man named Ichabod Crane, the schoolmaster. He was tall and exceedingly lank, with narrow shoulders, huge ears, large green eyes, and a long nose. His head looked like a weathercock perched upon his spindle neck. His schoolhouse was a small log building at the foot of a woody hill. Ichabod was a conscientious teacher, but his true passion was for the supernatural. He would spend long hours by the fire, hunched over a book of witchcraft, and he believed every word of it. Among his singing pupils was Katrina Van Tassel, the blooming 18-year-old daughter of a wealthy Dutch farmer. She was as rosy-cheeked as one of her father's peaches, and something of a coquette. Ichabod's heart melted the moment he saw her, and especially after he had visited her father's estate. Chapter 3. The Heiress and the Rival. The Van Tassel farm was a masterpiece of abundance, barns bursting with the harvest, fat pigs grunting in their pens, snow-white geese upon the pond. Ichabod's heart yearned for the damsel who was to inherit these domains, but he had a rival, a burly fellow named Brom Bones, the hero of the country round. Broad-shouldered, boisterous, always ready for a fight or a frolic. And everyone knew that whenever a prank occurred, Brom Bones was at the bottom of it. Such was the formidable rival with whom Ichabod Crane had to contend. Chapter 4. Ghost Stories by the Fire. One autumn afternoon, Ichabod received an invitation to a quilting frolic, a party to be held that evening at the Van Tassels. He journeyed there on a broken-down plow horse named Gunpowder. The party was in full swing, but our focus is on what happened after the dancing. The old folk gathered around the great roaring fireplace. The air smelled of roasted apples and wood smoke, and they began to tell stories, ghost stories. They spoke in low, hushed tones of the woman in white, of the phantom ship. But all their tales paled in comparison to the legends of the Headless Horseman. Brom Bones, his voice a low and confident rumble, told of his own encounter with the specter. He claimed he had raced the horseman and would have won. Ichabod sat in the corner, his neck craned, his great eyes wide, swallowing every word. The party wound down. Ichabod lingered behind, hoping for a private word with Katrina. Chapter 5. The Ride into Darkness. What passed between them, no one knows. But something must have gone wrong. Ichabod departed the house with the air of a crestfallen and melancholy man. It was the very witching time of night. The hour was as dismal as himself. The sky grew darker. The stars seemed to sink. He had never felt so lonely. He was approaching the very places he had heard about in the ghost stories. The road led him through a hollow where the shadows were deepest. He tried to whistle a psalm tune, but his lips were dry. As he passed a group of birch trees, he heard a heavy, scrambling sound. He looked up, and in the deep gloom, he saw it, a dark, hulking shape mounted on a powerful black horse. It stood motionless. Chapter 6. The Chase. Ichabod's heart began to beat against his ribs. The figure moved, keeping pace with him in the shadows. Ichabod kicked Gunpowder into a frantic gallop. The stranger did the same. And when they galloped into a clearing of moonlight, Ichabod saw the truth. The figure was large and cloaked, and it carried its head not on its shoulders, but in its hand, on the pommel of the saddle. It was the Headless Horseman. A desperate chase began. The old horse flew over the dark road, but the specter's black steed was faster. The heavy, hollow thump of hooves echoed through the night. Ichabod remembered the stories. The horseman always vanished at the church bridge. If he could just reach the bridge, he would be safe. He saw it ahead, a dark archway over the brook. He kicked Gunpowder one last time. The horse leaped onto the bridge, thundered over the planks, and reached the other side. Ichabod looked back, expecting the specter to vanish. But no, the horseman rose in his stirrups and, with a terrible motion, hurled his head at Ichabod. Ichabod saw a great round object flying through the air. It struck him square in the head with a tremendous, wet, hollow crash. He was sent tumbling into the dust, and Gunpowder, the black steed, and the spectral rider passed by like a whirlwind. Chapter 7. The Morning After. The next morning, the old horse was found at his master's gate. Ichabod Crane did not appear. The search party traced his path to the church bridge. There, they found the saddle trampled in the dirt, and close beside it, a shattered pumpkin. Ichabod Crane was never seen in Sleepy Hollow again. The old country wives maintain to this day that he was spirited away by supernatural means. As for Brom Bones, he married the blooming Katrina not long after, and whenever the story of Ichabod was related, he would laugh heartily at the mention of the pumpkin. But the legend remains, and it is that legend that gives this little valley its enduring drowsy charm. Now, let the story fade. Let the quiet of the hollow settle over you, and allow yourself to drift into a deep and peaceful sleep.